I think most people, they spend all their time in their own little bubble with their own kind of people. And especially around cannabis, people can have very strong opinions that are not often challenged, because if they are challenged, you put somebody away as a skeptic or a non-believer or an opponent. And in a place like the symposium today, there was actually a meaningful interaction between those different opinions. And I think that's a big profit. 3 main messages is that I think one, the wheel doesn't have to be reinvented. A lot of the things that we're looking for, that we're worried about, are already figured out. There's data about it, there's publications, there's experience, so countries can actually learn from each other. Second, I think one of the topics that everybody seems to agree about is standardization. And it sounds very boring. It sounds like it's the same product for everyone everywhere around the world. But I think what is meant with standardization is that we agree on a set of quality standards, like we do for food, cars, and medicines in general. We want to know that if we use something, it's safe and it does what it's claimed to do. And the third thing is that I heard very clearly is that we can learn from actual patients' experiences. So that doesn't mean we just do what patients ask their physicians to do or their regulators to do, but we can be inspired by their daily experiences, problems, and observations to understand what it is that we should actually research and regulate. But it's also really easy to get lost in personal, dramatic stories. So there's one kid with epilepsy and suddenly the whole world has to be turned upside down because we have to help this kid. And I think that's too short-sighted. So we have to look at larger statistical needs. I think let's not focus on the patients that just happen to be there that day and are very vocal about their own needs. I think it's important to understand the more general average needs of patients. Otherwise we get swamped in the demands and problems of the more vocal patient. And if the more vocal patient wants to grow his own cannabis in his own backyard, it doesn't mean that all patients want to grow cannabis in the backyard. So we need to take a little bit of distance, but not too much, because that means that the authorities and the experts are going to decide for the patient, and that's also not something that I think is a good idea. Yes, but only talking is not enough. I think you have to actually travel to a few places and see how it works, because every solution for any problem works in a certain context. And that context, the most important context, is culture. Cultures are different, politics are different, but also people's expectations and ideas for good solutions are different. So you cannot just bring some people to Ireland, listen to their stories and implement it here. I think you have to actually go other places and observe it with your own eyes. And when you bring that back home, I think then you're very much closer to an optimal solution.